Hey Virgo, let's see what's going on in your love life. This is a tarot love reading for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and of course for any of you lovely cross watchers dealing with a Virgo romantically. Now please keep in mind, Virgo, general reading may or may not resonate, which is totally okay. You are always welcome to take what works and leave the rest. So we're jumping right into it today, my loves, and we're gonna see what could be coming toward Virgo in love. First message coming out today for Virgo. We've got the Ten of Swords, okay. Not the easiest energy to start with. It does indicate heartbreak, betrayal, broken trust, somebody who hurt us. So I'm getting some emotional pain here. I'm getting some challenges within a romantic relationship. I'm getting the energy of somebody who potentially let you down and really hurt you. Let's see where it goes. Tell me more about what could be coming toward Virgo. Six of Wands. Interesting. That's a very, very, very different energy, you guys. So it's like we start with the Ten of Swords, which is like backstabbing, betrayal, emotional pain. And then we've got the Six of Wands, which is a card of victory and success. So, okay, I'm going to tell you what's coming to mind. It's a little odd, but I feel someone is a little bit delusional about your relationship right now. What it almost feels like to me, Virgo, and let me know if this resonates because it's kind of specific, take it or leave it. I feel like you're involved with somebody who hurt you and they're like, whatever, we'll just get over it. And you're like, no, like I'm really, really hurt. We're not just going to get over this. We need to talk about this because I am very upset about what happened. And it's almost feeling a little bit to me like they're avoiding an issue. Because like I said, the Six of Wands as a standalone card is nice, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me following the Ten of Swords in this reading, because it's like saying that someone really hurt you, but they also are just like, it's fine, everything's going to be okay. And they don't get to decide for you when you're okay and when you're over it. I'm getting an avoidant energy intuitively. That's what I'm picking up on, Virgo. Tell me more, please, about what could be coming toward Virgo. The Nine of Cups. Okay, the Nine of Cups is the dreams coming true and the wishes being fulfilled card. I gotta say, I almost feel like if you're resonating with the message, I think you're in a bit of a sticky situation. I think you're entangled with somebody romantically, but I think they've really hurt you. What it feels like to me is that they're a little bit delusional about what's happened. And with the Nine of Cups, it's kind of like they're living in a little bit of a fantasy land. They're kind of like, everything's gonna be fine, Virgo's gonna forgive me, we're gonna move forward and everything's gonna be okay. But that's not necessarily what's going to happen. Because if your person is in denial about what they did or they're not taking responsibility for it, that's going to be a problem. Because when somebody causes us pain like the Ten of Swords, in my opinion, at a bare minimum, they need to start by taking responsibility and owning what they did. And that is just the first part. And then after that becomes everything that they need to do to repair it. And so it just feels like your person is a bit disconnected. And also, I'm getting the message like maybe they hurt you, but like they don't even realize how badly they hurt you. And so maybe they're just, moving along in your connection and being like, that's fine, that wasn't a big deal, but you're really hurt by something and it hasn't been resolved. Okay, I know it's specific. Let me know if it connects. So here's what we're gonna do for the rest of the reading, Virgo. Let's look at them and let's look at you. So we're going to look at their overall energy, what they could be feeling, what actions they could be taking. I'll look at the same thing for you, and then we'll look at the potential outcome. So let's just kind of see how this shakes out. Tell me about this person who Virgo is involved with, please. The Six of Swords. I'm getting another interesting message because the Six of Swords is like leaving something behind. I almost wonder if they, in the heat of the moment, like broke up with you and then came crawling back and were like, what, I just needed the past couple weeks or couple months to, do my own thing. But here I am, Virgo, I'm back. So we can be happy, right? It feels very disconnected. Tell me more. The Ten of Cups. I don't know why, you guys. I'm just getting a weird energy. I'm getting the energy of someone who either walked away, or even if they didn't walk away per se, I think they really did something that left you feeling cold, feeling abandoned within the relationship. And now they're like, but we're going to have happily ever after, right? Right, Virgo? Tell me more. Ace of Cups. We're going to have a fresh start. I love you. I gotta say, you guys, like I do think your person probably loves you. I don't dispute that. I don't think they're lying. But I also just feel like there's a huge conflict that they are avoiding dealing with. It's like they're living in la la land. Tell me what they could be feeling. Two of Pentacles. Okay. Two of Pentacles is not a very stable energy. It's like being in an emotional limbo. It could also be the energy of somebody who doesn't really know what they want. So they might be saying these things about how they want happily ever after with you, but also not really be sure that that's exactly what they desire, right? Like there's something about your person's energy, and I don't want to make it sound malicious because I don't feel like it's necessarily a malicious thing. They just feel disconnected. They feel disconnected, avoiding things, not really seeing the truth of the situation. Like I could see you going to them and being like, you can't cause me pain like the 10 of Swords and just pretend everything's okay. And they're like, why not? Why can't we just be okay? Like there's something disconnected here. What could they be feeling? Tell me more. Okay. Their energy feels unstable to me. On the one hand, I could see them coming towards you and being like, I love you so much, Virgo, I want to be with you, after they've done something that really hurt you. But then emotionally, we're not seeing a lot of stability here. We're seeing someone who's potentially emotionally unstable with the Two of Pentacles. And then the Eight of Cups is a person who's walking away. So it makes me feel a little bit like they might come in and like profess their love for you, but then I'm like, are they just as quickly going to walk away? What else could they be feeling? Five of Wands, they're conflicted. I gotta say, Virgo, I don't really understand your person's energy. Like, I'm confused by their energy, and honestly, I think what I'm feeling is how you feel, okay? Five of Wands is conflict, tension. I think there has been issues between you guys. I think the bigger issue is that they are internally conflicted, but it's interesting because it feels a little bit more like subconscious or unconscious. Like, I don't think this person actually knows what they want, but they haven't fully explored that. It's like on the surface, maybe they're like, I want to get married and I've decided I want to get married and have a relationship, but there just feels like there's something that's not clicking for them. And again, I don't think it's necessarily a malicious thing. Like, I don't actually get the sense they're like purposely trying to mess with you. This is not an excuse. I just feel like this is somebody who's like all over the map. And there's a lack of maturity here, okay? It's just sitting weird with me, you guys. Let's see what actions they could be taking. Ace of Wands. Okay, they're probably very attracted to you. I think this is someone who probably places a lot of importance on the passion and attraction in a relationship. I'm not saying that's not important, but there's got to be more. It can't just be the physical chemistry. There has to be the emotional connection, the safety, the consistency, intellectual connection, spiritual connection. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that go into a relationship. This is one of those things where I could see this person coming towards you and like literally like begging you, like, be with me. It's fine, Virgo. Everything's good. We're going to work it out. It's going to be amazing. Everything's fine, right? And then if you say no, they're like, okay. And like, they're not really bothered. They just move on to the next with the Ace of Wands. Do you know what I mean? It's like they come towards you and you're like, okay, maybe they do want to be with me. But then if you say no, they're very quickly out the door and you're like, you're not even going to grieve this relationship. It just feels all over the map. What other actions could they be taking? I'm going to tell you what came to mind. Take it or leave it. This energy is like, it's sitting weird with me today. When I pulled the Five of Swords, considering that we just had the Ace of Wands, I got the message of like, did they sleep with your friend? And then act like it wasn't a big deal. Like, there's something, I don't know. It feels like the person who you're dealing with just has a completely different perspective on relationships than like most people. Like, what I'm honestly getting, and it sounds kind of stupid, but like, this is the message I'm getting. It's like, they would do something like go and sleep with your friend, and then they're like, but it's fine because I love you. Like, there's something that I feel is so disconnected where it's like they have trouble accepting like the weight of their actions. Like they just are like, everything's fine, and then they do things that are bad. And it's a little bit gaslighty, I think, potentially, where like they come in and they're like, but it's all fine. What's the big deal? Like, you know, maybe you guys have an argument one night, right? Maybe you have a big fight and then they go and sleep with your friend and then they come back the next day and you find out about it. And they're like, yeah, but we had a fight. So yeah, I slept with your friend, but like we had a fight. So we weren't really talking that night. So I went and slept with them, but like now we're talking, so it's fine. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this reading is resonating with anybody, but it's definitely interesting, you guys. What other actions could they be taking? Page of Wands. I think they're a big flirt. I don't know, you guys. It's a tough one because I really don't pick up on like really manipulative, nefarious energy. It's just almost an oblivious, avoiding type of energy. And I'm not sure if that makes it worse almost. Because it's like, I do think they've got feelings for you and they probably think they want commitment, but their energy is just all over the place. And then, you know, they're easily distracted by the next shiny thing. So it's like they might, like I said, be happy with you one day and the next day they're like, ooh, I'm going to go flirt with that person. I guess to summarize this, I feel an extreme lack of maturity and maybe somebody who's not ready for a commitment. And this is not to say they're a bad person. I'm sure they have lots of lovely qualities, but like this just feels like somebody who's got a lot of growing up to do, if I'm being quite frank with you, Virgo. Okay. I mean, for somebody to hurt you, I'm sorry, I just have to go, that 10 of Swords and that 6 of Wands is just, oh, it's like sitting on my chest here, Virgo, and it's the overall energy. And it just feels like they really hurt you and they didn't take responsibility. And I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, when you hurt your partner, you need to own it. You need to do things to repair it. And there's such a disconnect and you know, an avoidance here that it's like they're not engaging with you in a way that's going to create that vulnerability and that depth of intimacy in your relationship because they're so disconnected. But on the one hand, they're probably telling you, I want happily ever after with you. I want to, you know, I want to love you. Let's be together. But their actions are not lining up with it. And I don't think it's like a really harshly manipulative thing, but it's like, maybe they are not ready to have commitment with anybody, potentially. Oof, let's look at you. Tell me about Virgo's energy right now. The Sun, interesting. The Sun is one of the happiest cards in the tarot, in my opinion. I think you've had good times with this person, but I also think it probably came crashing down with the 10 of Swords. Sometimes I feel like the Sun is holding on to the good moments, which is fine. I think we should recognize, obviously, the good moments in our relationship, but don't let it overshadow the bad. Because sometimes I think what happens is we'll like hold on to a couple of really good, happy memories from the past. But it's like the reality is that what your person's been doing recently is the 10 of Swords. So it's like you can reflect on the good times, but what is the reality of what's actually happening right now? Tell me more about Virgo, the Hanged Man. Yeah. This is you slowing it down and pausing, right? I think that this is like quite, like, I don't even know what to say. This is just weird. This energy feels weird to me, Virgo. And so I think it's good if you can kind of get into that Hanged Man energy because the Hanged Man is not taking action. They are paused. And usually what somebody in the Hanged Man energy is doing is looking at the situation from all angles and figuring out what they want to do. I think that's what you're being encouraged to do here. Tell me more. 6 of Cups. Okay. 6 of Cups, it's a card of nostalgia. It's connected to the past. The big message I'm getting for you, Virgo, is I feel like there were some really good moments with this person. There always is. Like, you know, there's good moments, but I feel you're clinging to the good moments. With the 6 of Cups there, it almost feels like maybe a lot of the good times happened in the past and there haven't really been a lot of good times recently. And so you're kind of holding on to those happy memories of what happened before and thinking, oh, we'll get back to the way we were before. But I also feel like the Hanged Man indicates that you're maybe starting to break free from that a little bit and be like, we did have happy memories. I'm not saying to forget them and discount them, but what if that was it? What if all those happy memories are in the past and moving forward, there's not a lot of those happy memories? You know what I mean? Like, I feel the Hanged Man is you starting to look at things from a different perspective and being like, yeah, we did have some really good memories, but the last time we had a really good memory was actually quite a while ago because the reality is that I've actually been really hurt by them now and there's a lot of pain and a lot of challenges. Let's see what Virgo could be feeling. Queen of Cups. You do love them. Tell me more, please. And I also feel you're the emotionally mature one in this relationship. Let's be very clear about that. 8 of Pentacles. I mean, there is part of you, I think, that's like, you know, if I give them a chance, you know, and we work on it, could it work out? I mean, the 8 of Pentacles is about where we invest our time. I do think you have a lot of love for this person, so I totally empathize with being in this situation. I think this is a bit of a doozy, Virgo, because I do think you've invested a lot emotionally into this situation with somebody who is maybe lacking the maturity needed to have a healthy long-term relationship at this point, right? What else? The Empress. Okay, so I got to go back to the overall energy. I pull the overall energy, Virgo, to frame the reading, and I use that as the context for the rest of the reading. So when I got the 10 of Swords, I immediately was like, somebody hurt you badly. And then they just think everything's going to be okay with the 6 of Wands, and they're painting this like fantasy of what's going on between the two of you, okay? You start with literally stabbed in the back, and then we're in dreamland over here, right? I wonder, and I say this with love, if there's a little bit of delusion on both sides, right? So let me explain. I think you've obviously got feelings for this person. And there's maybe part of you, and I think we've all been there, no judgment, where a relationship goes sideways, but we really want to hold on to the vision of this ideal relationship that we've crafted in our mind. And so I feel like there is part of you that's like holding on to this like idealized version of what could be, where there's love and it's so nurturing and it's so caring. But is that actually what's happening? What actions could Virgo be taking? Page of Swords. Okay, Page of Swords is the energy of reaching out, but it's very surface level. This makes me worried that like you end up talking to this person, but you hold back on saying how you actually feel. This is very much like just texting someone and being like, hey, what's up? And then you hang out, but you don't get deeper. It's a page. It's the least mature energy of the court cards. And so I feel, I guess, to kind of sum up maybe what the big issue is between you and your person is a lack of depth. And it's not to blame you or them, but it seems to be a significant problem in the dynamic where it's like things are kind of surface level. And then when really significant shit happens that causes pain, it's not dealt with adequately. It's like, instead of getting in with like the King of Swords energy and really explaining how they made you feel, Page of Swords is maybe, you reach out, but you beat around the bush and you don't really talk about what happened. And then things kind of smooth over for a couple of weeks. And then you guys find yourself in another tough situation. What other actions could Virgo be taking? The Chariot. I'm getting the energy of brushing past the issues. Maybe you're both in denial. That happens sometimes, right? Maybe this is a relationship that has suffered a significant blow, but neither of you are really fully willing to admit the damage that has been done to the relationship. And maybe both of you are kind of dancing around the issue because it's uncomfortable, right? As we're getting into it, I'm definitely getting the sense of like a lack of maturity, maybe even from both of you, and a lack of desire from either of you to really look at the harder issues of the relationship because that doesn't feel comfortable. And so things stay surface level and nothing is really ever solved. But on the surface, maybe you're like, okay, surface, we look good. We feel it looks like it's fine. But below the surface, I don't think things are getting deeper emotionally. And I don't know that issues are getting resolved. And I'm getting like an image of somebody putting a Band-Aid like on their arm or something, It's like putting a Band-Aid on the issue, but not actually like dealing with the core of the issue. What other actions could Virgo be taking? The Justice card. This reading is interesting to me, you guys. The message that came to mind is you probably apologize a lot. And I feel like sometimes you might apologize for things that are not your fault. Interesting. I want to see what the potential outcome is. This reading, every once in a while I get a reading and I'm like, this is very, very interesting. I don't know about this, you guys, but let's see what the potential outcome is. Queen of Pentacles. Okay, what else? Yes, Seven of Cups. What else? King of Cups. Okay. This is not what I was expecting, but I'll tell you obviously what I see here. I see that you guys might continue to move forward in this connection, even if there's a lack of clarity and even if things have not directly been fixed or addressed. We've got the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Cups, so it's like trying to move forward. You love each other, trying to create stability, but the Seven of Cups is a big problem sandwiched right in between them. The Seven of Cups is confusion, mixed messages. It can represent an illusion. In the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, if you're familiar with it, Virgo, the Seven of Cups shows 7 cups on the imagery of the card, and there's a big cloud behind those cups. That's the illusion. It represents an inability or unwillingness to see exactly what's going on. So this is not necessarily where I thought this was going to go, but I have seen this happen where it's like you get into a situation, stuff happens that's really hurtful and painful, but there is love. And so neither of you want to like let go of the other. So you keep going, but the core issues are not addressed. That's the big thing I'm getting is also like a large energy of like brushing past the issues. And you can let me know if that connects. It just feels that I think you guys might continue to be together and try to see if you can make it work. But I do think that there's been some serious things that happened between the two of you. And I feel like this reading, in a very like hopefully loving and gentle way, is encouraging you to just be really honest about what's going on. Because it does feel like there's an element of fantasy and illusion here. And that it's not to blame either of you. Like I feel like maybe it's coming a little bit from both of you where you've got this love for each other. So you're like, yeah, we want to make it work. But you've got these significant problems that are never being dealt with. And they're always just below the surface. And I think this has maybe been a little bit of a pattern for you guys where these heavier topics and these heavier emotional conversations have not necessarily been dealt with. But in order to keep the peace and because you don't want to lose each other, you keep kind of brushing it away and hoping it's going to be okay. And so, yeah, I feel like that's what I see. I see that maybe there's been some pain between you and your person recently, but kind of feels like you don't want to let go of each other. I mean, my advice, take it or leave it, this is not a tarot thing, but when I look at this, I'm like, my advice would be if you guys really want to be together, I think that you'll have to look at some of these patterns that have maybe not been helping your relationship and figure out how to work on them. So if the two of you are not effective at communicating around conflict and solving issues, are there things that you could do to get to a good place? I mean, maybe you could go to counseling or something like that, right? Because if you want to make it work, I totally get that. Like when we love somebody, we want to make it work. But I just feel like this reading is highlighting an area that would need to be addressed in order for you guys to really move forward in a successful way. Otherwise, if you keep brushing things under the rug, there's probably going to be a lot more moments where it's like things happen where you guys hurt each other or hurt each other's feelings, whatever, and it's not dealt with, but then you brush it under the rug, you're happy again, but then it happens again. Over time, I feel like all of that built up emotion could end up bubbling up to the surface if it's not dealt with in a healthy way. So if you're sticking it out with this person, maybe the point of this reading is to encourage you to really look at the challenges in the relationship right now, both of you, not just you, both of you, and start to maybe try to take some positive steps to get to a healthier place in how you're dealing with some of these things. I mean, if you're able to do that, I think it would help your relationship significantly and could move you in a really good direction. But I also think you need to look at it and be like, do we have the skills and the willingness and the capability for both of us to engage in that process? So I think there's a lot of reflecting that could potentially happen here, but this definitely looks quite complicated. Bit of an interesting reading, you guys. If it resonated, do me a solid, give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And of course, I wish you so much love and happiness, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.